Okay, we're good.
Oh,
I think, yes, we're good.
great.
Okay. I actually have it this time, yes. Okay, there we go. Alright. Should we start with our chapters?
Sure. Oh, wait, are you recording already?
Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
I was
Nice.
ready to go. Um,
Just to clarify, did you guys end up reading chapter 6 or 7?
6.
Okay.
7.
Because she said chapter 7, but the title
Yeah.
was for chapter 6. So I ended up
Mhm.
reading 6. But I guess Emily and I can just talk about 6 and then you can talk about 7. If we want to do that.
Yeah, I was confused too, and I didn't want to email, so.
Yeah, I just figured I would go with the words instead of the number. I don't know. It was kind of just a shot in the dark there.
That's so fair.
They're probably similar, anyways.
Yeah. Okay, well, I can start us off with chapter 5, which was fluency. My favorite part of that chapter was it was like early on, but it had the big list of doing like the fluency development lesson, or they called it like the FDL.
Mm-hmm.
So it was like daily intervention for students who struggle in fluency. And so it was like a 20-minute lesson where the teacher reads, and then it was like a short excerpt kind of thing. And then you do like a choral read, and then you split kids up, and then they do practice reading, and then a performance reading. And then they kind of like choose words from that text for their word wall, do a couple activities, take the passage home, and then the next day the student reads it. So like I thought that was just a good, like, if it's only 20 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
you can probably squeeze that in at some point between, like, if you have to move a couple things around or, like, I don't know. I feel like it was a manageable thing to incorporate into, like, a literacy lesson.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it would actually be pretty effective because it's, like, a short excerpt. They are able to, like, really get that repetitiveness of the reading, and it's, like, a short passage. So I thought that was something that I'll probably take with me as I begin teaching.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that was a really important thing to take away too, and I feel like it ties with one of the quotes that I found. I found authentic practice is an effective principle of literacy instruction because it requires students to practice reading engaging text to develop skills and proficiency that can transfer to subsequent reading experiences. So if they're doing this every single day, you could use different texts every single day and they could
Right.
transfer those skills
Mm-hmm.
without probably even knowing what that they're doing that.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I also liked the quote from that chapter. It was students who read with adult-like expressions are more likely to understand what they read. I thought that was like funny because I think a lot of times kids try to like read like the teacher or like they hear their parents at home,
Mhm.
just because it's like what they're being surrounded with. But it's again like little do they know it's actually helping them understand the text they're reading. It's not just like a funny performative voice they're putting on. So I thought that was like a
Yeah.
good, that could be something fun to incorporate. Like, okay, try reading like, I don't know, like you give an example of someone, and so it's like fun for them to try to like do this sort of act, but also they're using way more expression in their voice, and it's really helping their comprehension. So
Right.
I like it a lot.
Actually, I just did like my pillars of literacy, and the one that I did was fluency. And like the activity that we have, it was like a sentence, and it was like read it in this tone of voice, read it in this tone of voice, and read it in this tone of voice. And I was like exactly that. And it's like a
Yeah.
thing on TikTok right now too, which is so funny.
Wait, that's so funny. I need to look this up.
It's like people just saying the same. They're like doing it with their kids, like saying the
Oh
same
yeah, yeah,
thing.
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Like say it like you're mad. Say it like
Oh,
you're
yes.
It's so funny.
I love that
That's
trend, actually.
That's
Yeah,
like a perfect idea.
it is.
That was Amu Battaglia. She came up with it. I gotta give her
Oh, I love
credit.
it.
Nice. I feel like
I like the idea of the idea of repeated readings. I feel like I remember in kindergarten I used to go to something called Kinder Crew after school, and I literally remember a book that I read, and it was one of those like 1, 2, 3 like level books, and it was about a guide dog, and I remember reading it every single day for at least a week because I couldn't figure out how to pronounce guide, and I was like guide, like I could not figure it out. And I was like, no, I don't even know what this dog is doing. And then like I read it and I read it and I read it with like an adult until I figured out how to pronounce it. And then I didn't even know probably what a guide dog was at the time. But I was like, I like the idea of repeated reading because it's not just like the memorization, but like learning to decode and then getting to read it again so that you can actually understand what you just read 8 times.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about chapter 6, or do you guys have anything else for chapter 5?
Not really, no. I feel like that's all the big
For
things.
sure, yeah.
Yeah, these were all very short, I think.
I know they were. Okay, so 6 was comprehension and vocabulary. I pulled a quote from that which said the point of comprehension is to do something that matters. And I thought that was like so true, and something I feel like I overlook when I'm teaching is that like if you actually want your students to take away anything from readings or writing, you need to like make it something that they're engaged in or that they at least are like eager to learn about. So I just kind of picked out those like the essential factors, I guess, that they had laid out in the reading. So students need expansive opportunities for reading. Students need strategic, intentional instruction, and students need deliberate practice.
Yeah.
I think my favorite out of those 3, I think I liked the second one, because it just had a lot of like good like framework, I guess, for providing those experiences and like how to really make your instruction intentional.
Yeah. I have a quote that kind of goes along with that, and I like the practice or like deliberate practice part. I found practice does not make perfect, despite the common saying. Instead, practice makes permanent, which I feel like is really powerful. Like,
yes, I had that one too.
I think I feel like in my reflections and stuff, I'm like, oh, they need to practice more so they like start to get it more correct. But like this changed my whole mindset. Like, oh, now I need to focus more on just making the skill permanent overall, and they'll just get better with it over time. Like, that's not something necessarily that I can do for them. It's more that I'm there to help them make it permanent for themselves.
Yeah, I loved that quote too. And I feel like I've also heard like at first you hear like practice makes perfect, and then over the years I heard practice makes progress, which I like that one too. But now that I'm reading practice makes permanence, like I love that. I think you explained that perfectly.
Yeah, that was probably the most powerful thing this chapter for me.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess the last thing I had was, it was towards the end of that chapter, but they said that students are no longer motivated by the experience of reading. And so the example they gave was like after reading a text or something, a lot of kids don't have those follow-up questions anymore, like, oh, why did they do that? Like, or if there's anything that was open-ended, they like were talking about how sometimes like that lack of like creativity almost to jump in and like finish the story themselves.
Yeah.
So it talked a lot about like the call to action and how we can kind of like make reading fun, I guess, and how that helps motivation.
Because I feel like I see that, like, with some of my kids, if we don't instruct them, like, a certain way, then they just, like, shut down after reading. They don't want to answer questions. They don't want to keep thinking about it, whatever. But then I have kids, like, who we interact with the whole time we're reading the book or whatever, and it's like their mind doesn't stop racing. Like, they come in the next day, and they're still asking me questions about it. So I think it, like, ultimately does come down to, like, what our instruction looks like and if we're promoting reading as like fun and engaging.
Yeah, definitely.
Want me to do chapter 7 or is it more for chapter?
Oh,
That's
God.
pretty much it, yeah.
It was more about assessment. I thought they would be more related, but it was more about assessment. So I pulled a quote that said, "Effective literacy assessment is more than a single score on a test. Effective literacy assessment seeks to create a complex profile of the student, relying on multiple data sources while also considering the child's background, strengths, and interests in order to help determine effective instruction for the teacher and give productive feedback to the student." It was just like a good quote. I just liked it. Like it
Yeah.
had good information. I do think it's important to pull from more than one test because I don't think one test can tell you a lot, except for maybe like an isolated skill in one moment in time. Because I think you give a kid the same test 3 days in a row, and maybe they could get a different score every single day because they didn't sleep one night, or they didn't have breakfast, or they're mad at their brother. Like, I think so. It's good to combine and consider the child's backgrounds and interests and that sort of thing. And then they differentiated assessment as like an overarching framework of how to understand students' levels, and then testing is like one component of assessment, but it's not everything. Yeah, and it was like it talked about having viewing students based on their strengths instead of like a deficit. So there's a deficit view of assessment which looks for what students can't do, but then there's a view of strengths, means students are viewed as sense makers who use their funds of knowledge that they have from their backgrounds and experiences in order to interpret the current world. And I can understand sometimes you need to look for what children don't understand, but I do think tests got, especially when we were younger, kind of used against us. Or maybe it was just how I viewed when I would get a test back. The first thing I saw is what I got wrong. Like, I could have gotten an A or a D. They didn't do letters, but like I couldn't have gotten a high score or a low score. But immediately I was looking for, well, what did I do wrong? Why did I not get this instead of that?
Yeah. I'm like a huge advocate too for formative assessments. Like that is something I definitely took away in undergrad was like do as many low stakes formative assessments as you can and help that or like have that to help guide your like assessment, like what you're writing down like grade wise and stuff, because if students are like exposed to so many of those like low stake like exit ticket or like something like while they're working that they can just like turn in to just even show that they understood like the concept of the lesson, I think that's so like critical. Especially like sometimes I really love to give formative assessments that students don't know necessarily are formative assessments, and so then you hand them back and a lot of students, it's like they don't know, so there wasn't any pressure for them to perform. So when they get it back, it's not like necessarily this super big like portion of your grade, but it's just something being like, hey, you did a really great job, and like I can totally tell that you were paying attention, like I can tell that you use whatever evidence, whatever. But I think formative assessments are such a great way to like kind of encapsulate like assessment as a whole when you're with kids, because it's just, I don't know, I feel like it takes off so much pressure for them rather than having those like multiple choice tests or something where it's super high stress.
I know, like I'm an adult and those tests still like give me anxiety. Like if I'm 21 and I feel like that, how are my 6 and 7-year-olds feeling?
Yeah, I know, me too. Emily, where'd you go?
No.
Oh, there she is. Sorry, you totally froze up for both of us.
Oh, I'm sorry. My Wi-Fi is not good.
It's all right.
All right. Anything else for 5, 6, or 7? No.
Okay. So far,
I think all we have left is 14. Yeah. This.
start with. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. You can go.
Okay, I'm just gonna share a quick quote that I had from this. When students are emotionally and intellectually invested in reading, they're also most likely to persist in their reading and to execute cognitive strategies in the face of difficulty.
I had that quote pulled too.
Fun.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like that was the gist of the chapter.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys have like a favorite series growing up? Like I was a Magic Tree House girly because I read the first one and I was like, they might be onto something. So I read like a million of them, and I often got in trouble for reading under my desk, having a book out when I wasn't supposed to. But it's like you taught me how to read. Why did you teach me how to read if you don't want me to read?
I
I
know.
know.
I loved, and were they just called like the Rainbow Fairy series? Is that what?
Yes.
I loved those, and I didn't even remember that I loved them until I saw someone talking about it on TikTok recently, and I was like, wow, those were my favorite. That, and I think Dork Diaries.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say Dork Diaries. Yep.
Dork Diaries, I was like, it's not reading because there's like pictures. Like,
Yes, I was like, wait, this is so fun.
See, that's what the kids that I babysit, they love like the graphic novels and stuff because they don't feel like they're reading. Like there's pictures in them, so they think it's like fun. Like I cannot get them to put books down to save my life.
Oh, that's so nice.
it's a good thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's like such a good like gateway, like not entry level reading, but like something to get kids motivated to read.
Whatever interests them. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for real.
And I
like the I
also
Survived books.
Mhm.
oh, those were I never really got super into those, but I've heard lots of students that love them.
They were like a little creepy for like kids.
Mhm.
But I was like, okay.
I'm also thinking about my mom's a teacher, so we have like a huge bookcase of children's books in our basement. And I'm not sure if they're newer or older, but the like choose your own adventure books. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
Yes.
I think those are so fun, and I actually was like planning at one point, and I didn't end up getting to do it with kids, but like a DIY version of that where they kind of like, I think it would be so fun for
Yeah.
like reading unit.
See, I feel like that's where a lot of like engagement comes in too. Is like when students have the opportunity to like choose and use their interests, like they're going to be more interested in that than reading like a random nonfiction book or something.
Yeah.
And I think those are also so fun because then it's like, okay, I finished the book, but now I want to go back and choose the other option and see what it would have been like if I did this instead of this. So I feel like that's like the gift that keeps on giving because that can be like as many stories as you want in one.
Mhm.
That's how I feel about like series and authors. Like once kids start to read more, they're like, okay, I like this book and I want more, but I'm not just gonna read the same book again. Like I already know what happens. So I love series or authors who write really similar books.
Yes, for sure. Oh, I think just like reading at a young age is so fun.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love
Now is fun, but
Yeah.
being read to was so fun too, but now I kind of hate it a lot.
I feel like we've talked about interactive read alouds a million times in this class, but
Mhm.
like that was the thing that I had a connection to the most, I think too, is at Rochester Prep we do interactive read alouds every single day. There's a half an hour every single day for read aloud time, and it really like it does engage my students and it allows them to learn how to like problem solve and really like dig deep into a text and really like get into it, get engaged with it. And it's definitely had given them huge growth. We've seen such growth since we started doing it at the end of this year.
Oh, that's great. I love read alouds. They're so fun.
Mhm.
I love when kids ask questions. I know it's like disruptive when they repeatedly like shout out, especially like really little kids. But I love when they ask questions or they say something that like doesn't really relate, but it relates enough to the point where you're like, they were listening. I got them.
Mhm.
Like they're paying attention. They heard a word at least.
Yeah.
Or like when they bring up something that you've never even thought about and you're like, that's such a good point. Like I never would have thought of that. And like you're 6, like that is so cool that you just thought about that.
Yeah. Just from a read aloud, like that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
I love it. I'm like looking back at my notes now. I don't know. I feel like
That's kind of what I have.
was this the chapter where they started with the 2 prompts? It was like
Yeah, it's like the 2
like
classrooms.
storylines. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay, I really liked those examples. I couldn't remember if it was this one, but I loved those examples of, I think it said like 2nd graders or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't exactly remember what happened, and I should have written it down, but I remember reading it and being like, oh my gosh, wait, that's so, that's so sweet.
Hmm. Yeah, that's like the big things. These chapters were really short, so there's like not.
Yeah.
There's like 1 or 2 main points for every chapter.
Yeah.
There was like the peer allowing for peer discussion. That was like the only other thing. But that's all it.
Oh yeah, that's what actually, thank you for saying that, because that reminded me, when I was reading that, I was thinking to myself, like, sometimes when we're doing literacy or like reading or writing, whatever, like if I would hear students talking while it was supposed to be like a quieter time, or like maybe it's supposed to be individual work, like I feel like I'd be pretty quick to shut it down and be like, okay, like we can talk in 10 minutes, but finish this activity first and then we can talk. But I'm like, what if they really are like having a valuable conversation and I have no idea?
Yeah.
And so that totally made me like think about maybe I need to allow a lot more time for like discussion and like peer interaction, even if we are doing independent time. Like if it's something that's related, go ahead. That just made me think while I was reading that I probably need to incorporate that more.
Yeah.
It's hard to know when to pick and choose your battles, especially. Are you guys interested in working with younger kids? Emily, how old are your students?
They're in 1st grade.
Oh, they're little.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping for kindergarten or 1st.
Me too. Yeah, it's tough with little kids to know when anything is productive. Like, it all is productive, but when is it productive in a relevant way? Like, I want to hear everything you have to say, I really, really do. But it's hard to determine when should I, okay, not right now, or when should I be like, okay, yeah, tell me more. That's
Yeah.
tough.
See, that's where I have like not difficulties, but I don't know how else to say it, with my English language learners, because they're like, oh my gosh, like I can connect this to my
Yeah.
language or whatever, but I'm like, okay, but like we have to get through the rest of this drill, but I want to know like how that's helping you learn too.
That I think is so difficult too with like any kid, that they don't all know how to like read and write wonderfully yet. So it's not like you can be like, oh, jot that down on a sticky note and tell me after. It's like, well,
I
they
think about that
can't.
all the time. Yes.
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, if you ask them at the end of the lesson, they are like, oh, I don't remember.
Oh, no.
So there's like no good solution for that. And
Yeah.
oh,
I don't know.
we can think on, I guess that can be our
I think about it.
our question as we go into our next classes.
Mhm. All right. Anything else?
Did you guys go to class on Tuesday? Yesterday? Yesterday was Tuesday.
Yes, it was